Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. So, my name is Natalie. I'm going to be doing your diagnostic interview today. What is your name? How would you like to be addressed?
My name is Maya, Mya, and my last name is Anderson. You can call me Maya. That's fine.
Okay, great. And then, what are your pronouns?
She or her.
Great. So, for this diagnostic interview, everything we discuss will be confidential, apart from I just have to let you know where the confidentiality, um, where the end of the confidentiality is. And that is if you relay any suicidal or homicidal tendencies or ideation. So just keep that in mind. But everything that you do tell me will be kept confidential between us.
Okay, that's good to know.
Great. So, Maya, what brings you in today to counseling?
Okay, so for the past 3 months, I have not felt like myself. I've lost interest in everything. It was hard for me to get up out of the bed today to take a shower just to come here. I haven't seen my son in 2 weeks because his dad threatened to take him from me if I didn't get help because he missed a week of school because I couldn't get up to take him to school. I'm currently on leave from work because I just can't get out of bed. I know what's going on, but I don't understand why it's affecting my life the way that it is.
Okay.
Like a couple of months ago, I flunked out of grad school and it's taking a toll on me. So
Yeah,
that's pretty much what's going on.
I can see how that would be difficult. Um, so, sorry.
Okay.
Based on what you're telling me, it sounds like this has been going on, you said for quite a while, a few months.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. Has it gotten any worse for you to be coming in, or what led you to come in here now?
I came in today because, like I said, my son's father threatened to take my son from me if I didn't get help.
Yeah.
And I'm on, like I said earlier, I'm on leave, but I return to work on next week. And I knew I need to get some help because if not, I'm going to lose my job. So I can't lose my son and my job. So I need to get it together.
Yeah, that's good that you're here then. And I'm sure that we can figure this out together.
I hope so.
So when did this all begin? Have you always kind of dealt with these problems? Has this been a new thing within the last few years, or when did you start feeling this way?
Well, I've kind of, well, not always, but for like the last couple of years, like I'll get depressed about little things, but I always get over it. It's like I'll sleep it off, I'll wake up the next day, and I feel fine. I guess it was a lot of pressure on me to finish grad school. And I guess since I didn't do it, I feel like I let myself down. So maybe that's why this time is taking a toll on me because I've never failed anything in my life. Like I flunked every class that semester. So
Hmm.
I'm scared to go back because I'm scared I'll fail again.
Yeah, that's understandable, but it's a good time to come in and get this done now, so we can just start from here. Um, so when did you first, is this the first time you've ever seeked treatment for this in your life, or have you ever had treatment before?
Yes, it's the first time.
First time. Okay,
Mhm.
great. Um, so you've never been hospitalized or had any type of mental health treatment whatsoever.
No.
Great. Okay, so um, sorry about that. So with this current hard time that you're going through,
Mhm.
would you say that this is the worst you've ever felt, or do you think that this time is different because of, different circumstances, or do you think this is just the worst that you've ever felt and it's
This is the worst I've ever felt. Like I've never been depressed this long, ever.
okay? Yeah. So have you thought about, I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your safety. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it is important to get these questions out there. So I'm just going to ask, do you ever think about hurting yourself?
No,
Okay. Have you ever attempted to hurt yourself or anyone else?
no. I mean, there's been times I'll just tell God, "You could just take me now. I don't care about waking up." But I've never tried to do anything.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever been so upset, possibly at your child or your child's father or anyone in your life that you have like felt like you wanted to lash out or harm anyone?
Yes, my
Yeah.
son's father, when he threatened to take my son, I told him I would run him over with my car. I
Okay.
didn't do it. Thankfully, I
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so have you ever been aggressive to any animals or destroyed any property?
No,
Okay. Okay. Thank you for answering that. It just gives me an idea of how you're feeling and if you are currently safe. Um, so the next questions that I'm going to ask are about your symptoms, just what you're experiencing. And so I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your mood and about what you've been going through. Is that okay?
mhm,
Great. So you said that you've been feeling really down, really sad, and that you've lost interest in a lot of things that you enjoy. Have there been any times lately in the past few months that you've felt the opposite of depressed, that you've felt really cheerful and happy or like different from your normal self?
no, I can't even tell you the last time I was happy.
Okay, okay. Um, so another question is, have you ever seen any visions or seen other things that other people didn't see, heard any noises other people didn't hear, anything like that?
No,
Okay. Um, so during the past few months that you've been going through all of this, have you frequently been worried about a number of things? I mean, you have a bunch of things on your plate. Have you been frequently worried and thinking about those things often?
yes, I have.
Okay.
Thinking about what if I lose my son? What if I lose my job? Do I even want to go back to grad school? Is it even worth it? I just have racing thoughts all the time.
Okay. And is it hard for you to control or to stop that worrying, especially like at night? Can you stop that worrying?
A lot of times I can't, so I'll take melatonin to make myself go to sleep so that I don't think about it.
Okay.
But I
Um,
don't abuse melatonin. I don't want you to think that. I just take one like every once a week because most of the time I can sleep easily.
yeah, I don't think that. So are there specific um any specific like places or times that you find that you feel worse? You said it's hard to get out of bed in the mornings. Would you say the mornings are hard for you?
Hmm.
Yeah, the mornings are the hardest. Okay, and then do you know what a panic attack is?
I do.
Okay, do you ever experience panic attacks or symptoms like that?
No, I don't.
Okay, okay. And then just a few more. So, do you frequently experience unwanted images or urges or thoughts that you don't want in your head but just keep coming back?
Yes, for some reason, every time I pick up my phone or get on the computer, I see visions of my grades in my head. I don't know why. I just see like I don't give F's in grad school, they give E's.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we know that's not it doesn't mean excellent. So I just keep seeing that in my head, you know. Just wish it would go away.
Okay. Yeah. Um, so you are experiencing some unwanted images.
Mm-hmm.
So are you doing anything to try to get those images out of your head? Do you feel like there's anything you need to do to get those images out, or do you just let them kind of play out?
I just let them kind of play out because it normally lasts for like maybe a second or two, and then just
Yeah, just
kind
quick
of goes away.
flashes. Okay. Okay. So regarding trauma in your life, have you ever experienced or witnessed something that where you thought you would be seriously injured or killed, or something that was very traumatic for you? Have you experienced anything like that in your life?
I was in a car wreck when I was in my mid 20s. It was kind of traumatic to ride back, to go on that road where I had the accident. It took me like a couple of months to actually go back on that road.
Yeah.
But I finally was able to drive back on the road 'cause it was like a little back road. It was like really narrow. So
Well, good
that's
for
about the only
you.
thing.
Yeah, so that's the only traumatic event.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so now I'm going to ask you a very personal question.
Hmm.
And if you're not comfortable answering, please let me know. But so you have never been physically, emotionally, or sexually abused?
I don't know if this would count as sexual abuse, but when I was in the 8th grade, my grandmother's boyfriend, like, he touched me. So I was asleep and I felt somebody like feeling on me and I jumped up. At first I thought I was dreaming. So I jumped up and he ran. So I don't know if that would count.
Okay. Well, of course that would count, if that was a traumatic experience for you or unwanted in any way, then that would definitely count. So keep that. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
So you do seem to have some trauma in your life. When I first mentioned trauma, you didn't jump to that. You jumped to, a car crash, but you definitely have experienced some trauma. So that's another thing that we're going to keep in mind throughout this session, because that's something that you can think is handled and put away, but it can still be causing problems.
Right.
Okay. Um, so have you ever had, or everyone has trouble remembering things, every once in a while you lose something or whatever, but do you ever feel like there are important details about yourself or your life that you cannot recall?
Mhm.
No? Okay. And so do you ever feel like people or places are familiar to you, that are familiar to you are unreal or feel detached or not part of your own body?
No.
Um, how is your eating? How is your eating habits? Are you eating healthy, normal amount of meals?
Well, I don't eat healthy at all. And as you can see, it doesn't look like I've missed any meals. Maybe depressed. That's like one of the things that's pretty constant. Like I don't overeat, I don't undereat. My eating habits haven't changed at all.
Okay. So no change in the eating habits. And then what about your sleeping? How has your sleep been?
Well, I think I sleep too much
Okay.
because I lay in the bed all day, and I think I probably sleep the majority of the day.
Yeah. You had mentioned something about taking melatonin. Is it hard for you to fall asleep at night when you're initially trying to fall asleep? Is that why you end up sleeping most of the day?
Only when I get those depressive thoughts. It's like I said, I only take it like once a week, if that, because a lot of times I sleep all day and all night. Basically, all I do is sleep.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't able to take my son to school for a whole week. He missed a whole week of school because I couldn't get up.
Okay. Okay. And then, so what do you currently use to cope right now? Do you use any substances or alcohol or drugs, or what are you using?
Well, I normally no, but a couple weeks ago I got this brilliant idea that I was going to self medicate. So I went to the liquor store and I got a pint of, I think it was a pint, I don't know, of, hold on, Crown Royal Vanilla. I think that's the name of it. And I drank the whole bottle, the whole bottle.
Okay.
So the next day I felt horrible. I was like, why do people do this? I felt bad. I think it made my depression worse.
Yeah.
So that was, like I said, 2 weeks ago, and I have not drank anything since. Even prior to that, I don't really drink.
So,
Maybe once, twice a year, I have a drink.
okay, so once or twice a year. So you don't drink very often at all.
No.
Okay. And then what spurred it on that day? Was that the day that your son's father um talked to
Yes.
you? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Um okay. Now I'm going to ask you some questions about your past medical history and your family history. Um
Yeah.
so here we go. So do you have any chronic medical problems or any health problems that are currently bothering you?
Well, 3 months ago, I went to the doctor, and he told me I was pre-diabetic. So he
Okay.
prescribed me some metformin for that. But everything else is great.
Okay. How has that affected you emotionally or mentally? Has that had any effect on you?
No.
Okay. Right. Um, have you ever experienced any health problems in your past, like a surgery or ever hit your head very hard or had a seizure, anything like that?
The only surgery I've had was a cesarean section when I had my son. That's the only surgery I've had.
Okay, great. So are you allergic to any medications? Do you have any allergies I should know about?
No.
Great. And so your family history, do you or do any of your relatives that you know of, have they ever dealt with any mental health issues?
Well, they haven't been diagnosed, but I think my whole family's crazy.
Okay.
They're all alcoholics and they're all crazy.
Alcoholics. Okay.
Mhm.
What would you say they have like nervous breakdown issues, depression, psychosis? You said crazy. So what what do you think um, they're dealing with if you had to
Well,
guess?
I think my mom might be depressed because, like, some years ago, she threatened to kill herself, but she didn't do.
Okay. So when was that?
I'd say maybe 5 years ago when her and my stepdad were having problems in their marriage. So I don't know if she was serious or if she was just trying to get his attention. I don't really know.
Okay. Um, how old were you when that happened?
I was 30.
Okay. And then how did that affect you? Did that affect you negatively?
Not really. Because I knew she wasn't going to do it.
Okay. You mentioned that your relatives have some excessive drinking issues. What
Hmm.
about drug abuse issues? Is that also an issue?
Well, one of my uncles, he recently died. He was in rehab when he died, actually, in a drug rehab. So he had been doing drugs for years, they said. And, like, I hadn't seen him maybe 10 years, maybe. But the last time I did see him, he looked terrible.
Okay.
And so I remember asking someone, like, what is going on with him? And it was like, he's on drugs really bad. No,
Do you feel like that affected you at all?
no. When he died, I didn't even cry. I guess because I hadn't seen him in so long.
Okay. So I'm hearing that your family has some drinking problems, possibly some mental health issues, but it sounds like they are all going undiagnosed and untreated, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, so for your developmental history, do you know if your mother had any difficulties during her pregnancy or birth with you?
Yes. I was supposed to be born in October, but I was born in August.
Wow.
I was told that her blood pressure got really, really high. And so when I was born, I think I stayed in the hospital some months. I'm not sure how many months, but some months. And the doctors told her that I would develop slow, that I wouldn't develop as quick as all the other kids, I guess you could say. But as far as I know, I guess I met on my milestones. I never asked.
Okay. So did you end up having any developmental problems? You didn't, did you have any like issues during your early childhood with any of that?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah. And what were you like as a child?
Very quiet and shy.
Okay. A lot
I
of
didn't want
kids.
to play with my cousins. So I was always want to be to myself.
And then when you reached puberty, how did you feel about it and what were you like as an adolescent or teenager?
I was still the same, still quiet, shy. I've had the same friends forever. So
Okay. So speaking of friends, did you have a lot of friends in school growing up? You said you've had those same friends, so have you had them for your whole life?
hmm since eighth grade,
Okay. Did you have any behavioral or learning problems in school?
no.
Um, how far did you make it in school? You graduated, I'm assuming, with a bachelor's if you were talking about grad school.
hmm
So, higher education, that's good. Who lived in your home during your childhood?
My mom, my stepdad, and my two siblings,
Okay. Were your siblings older or younger?
younger.
Um, was your household religious? Were you part of a faith growing up?
Well, I was the only person in my household that went to church. I used to go to church with my best friend.
Okay. So you were religious, but your household wasn't as much.
Hmm.
Okay. What about currently? Is that faith still a part of your life?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so now about your current life. How do you support yourself currently?
I work.
Okay, where do you work at?
I'm a school social worker.
Oh, great. And you said you're on leave right now.
Hmm.
Is that job still gonna be secure after leave? Are they okay with you taking your time for yourself?
Yes, but like I said, I have to return in 2 weeks. So I guess as long as I return in 2 weeks, it's secure.
Good. Um, What is the longest period of time you've stayed at one job?
3 years.
Okay, so you're able to hold down a job and keep up
Hmm.
with that. Good. Um, have you ever been arrested or jailed or had any issues with the law like that?
I was arrested for prostitution.
Okay.
I'm playing. I was not.
Okay.
No, I've never been arrested.
Okay. I will write that down. Um, so what do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies, anything you're interested in? You said you've lost some of your interests, but is there anything that you still like and enjoy doing?
I like shopping. I used to like reading, but I don't really do much of either anymore.
Okay. But you did like those things.
Hmm.
And you think you would still like them if you felt a little bit better?
Yeah, because my son needs some new clothes. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm eventually gonna have to shop.
Yeah. Um, what do you like about yourself?
Hmm. I like my hair. It's pretty long, so I like my hair. Um, I think I'm pretty. I'm smart, funny at times, and I'm dependable.
Good. Those are all great qualities. That's good. Um, so are you currently in a relationship?
No,
Okay. Um, and were you married to your child's father?
no,
Okay, so you've never been married?
no,
Okay. And you said that your child's father does currently have your son, right?
hmm, correct.
Does he have him full time? Do you have a custody agreement or
No, we don't. We don't have a custody agreement.
okay, so it's just kind of working it out between the two of you.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, well, I know that was a lot of questions, but that part is done at least.
Okay.
So now we will move on, and this part is a little bit, maybe a little bit more interesting because I'll be asking you some questions to, get a grasp of your attention and everything like that, how your mental status is. So I'm going to ask you um, a bunch of questions that might seem kind of random, but they will help me in the long run. So, are you
Okay.
ready?
I'm ready.
Great. So, what is your full name?
My name is Kiera Mitchell. I don't have a middle name.
Okay. Um, what is the date and time?
It is October the 14th, and it is 4:02.
Great. And where are you right now?
I'm in my kitchen. I'm in a therapist's office.
Okay, great. So now we're going to do some little activities. I'm going to ask you to count backward from 100 by sevens. Um, so you can just begin that whenever you are ready.
Will something happen if I don't do it correctly?
No, it's just to get a grasp of where you're at and where your brain is at, but there's no right or wrong answer. It's not a test. I'm not going to grade you.
Okay. So 93, 86, 79, 72, 65, 58, 51, 44, 37, 30, 23, 16, 9, 2.
Okay, great job. That was super good. Um, and now I'm going to ask you to spell the word world backwards.
All right, so it's gonna be DLROW, maybe.
Okay. Um, so I'm going to ask you to remember three things, and then I'll ask you later to recall them to me. So those three things are going to be blue, balloon, and Park Avenue.
Okay.
Okay. So just keep those in mind, and I'll ask you for them later. So, can you tell me who the President of the United States is?
Joe Biden. I don't
Okay.
know. I was about to say Trump, but it's Joe Biden.
Okay. And then can you name five large cities?
Yes. New York City,
Mhm.
Los Angeles, California, Houston, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, and Phoenix, Arizona.
Great. Okay. Um, and can you name any historical event from the last 20 years that you can think of?
9/11.
Okay. Um, so what were those three things that I asked you to remember?
Blue, Balloon, Park Avenue.
Great. Great job. Okay. Um, so sorry, just trying to get my thoughts together. Um, so from your assessment, I have kind of gathered that you might be dealing with some depression. Seems like you've been feeling really down and bad lately, and it's been going on for a few months, and that you haven't been able to get out of bed, and things aren't as interesting or exciting to you as they used to be. Um, and just all of these things that you have told me lead me to believe that you might be dealing with some type of depression. How do you think that sounds? Does that sound accurate to you?
Yes, that's what I was thinking, but I guess hearing it from somebody else.
Yeah. So because you're dealing with depression, I do most likely, I do want to keep meeting with you, and um, we can work on some cognitive behavioral therapy, or we can look at whatever different types of therapy you want to look into, but we can start getting you back on track and hopefully get you feeling better for your son and for your work and mostly for yourself. So I think if we keep meeting, that maybe we can address some of these issues that you're dealing with.
It
Do
sounds great.
you have any questions or anything you'd like to discuss before we meet again and move on to the next steps?
How often do you think we should meet?
I would like to meet weekly, if that is okay with you.
Yes, that's fine.
Great. So that we can, keep our progress up and that I can check in with you every week and see how you're doing. Okay.
Sounds good to me. I'm willing to try anything at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds great. And I will see you next week then.
All right, bye bye. Thank you for your time.
You know.